Howdy. Yeah, there's nothing deep or philosophical about this. It's just something I felt like ranting about, so I'll just come straight out with it. I like the midichlorians. Now here's 800 words explaining why. For those who don't know what midichlorians are, here's a quote from Liam Neeson. Midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides in all living cells, and we are symbiotes with them. Without the midichlorians, life could not exist, and we would have no knowledge of the Force. They continually speak to us, telling us the will of the Force. Now here's another from Darth Plagueis. Target midichlorians and we target life itself. And for good measure, here's a few quick lines from Wikipedia. Midichlorians were microscopic life forms that lived symbiotically inside the cells of all living things. When present in sufficient numbers, they could allow their host to detect the pervasive energy field known as the Force. Midichlorian counts were linked to potential in the Force, ranging from normal human levels of 2,500 per cell to the much higher levels of Jedi. The highest known midichlorian count, over 20,000 per cell, belonged to the Jedi Anakin Skywalker, who is believed to have been conceived by the midichlorians. Many people dislike the addition of the midichlorians into the Star Wars mythos, as apparently they feel it adds too much quote-unquote hard science into what is an otherwise wholly spiritual and thereby more fantastical universe. To them, I would say, first, I think you and I are using very different definitions of the word science. And second, the Force is, by definition, a hard magic system, and that, therefore, requires some corporeal tether, similar to how wizards in Harry Potter need their wands to cast spells. Otherwise, you either get Dragon Ball-style power creep, or all the arbitrary nonsense Disney keeps trying to pull with all their everyone can be a Jedi and Force lightning can just casually annihilate entire fleets BS. That second point, or more specifically, an argument I had about it with a coworker a few months ago that sprang back into my head this morning for no apparent reason, is the founding premise for this video's thesis, which is that the midichlorians are not only an acceptable addition to the Star Wars mythos, but a necessary inclusion to square off the contradictory circle presented to us in the original trilogy. Basically, we repeatedly get from characters, both light and darksiders, from all across the films and expanded universe, lines to the effect that the Force is infinite, omnipotent, and omnipresent. Quotes like, "Size matters not. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force. Nothing is impossible with the Force, and there is no death. There is the Force, among many others, work to give us the impression that the Force is the undisputable ultimate power in the universe, or at least in the Star Wars galaxy. So why then, if the Force is so insurmountable, does the Empire need a giant gun to blow up Alderaan? Why couldn't the Emperor just pull a Thanos and magic that peace-loving ball out of existence? Obviously, it's because there's a hard physical limit to how much of that universal cosmic energy any one being can tap into and channel at a given moment. But without the midichlorians, or something similar, you'd never know that. It would seem totally arbitrary. And worse, it would make Vader seem like what that one admiral tacitly accused him of being, an over-the-hill, second-rate cultish magician with delusions of grandeur clinging to the flawed vestiges of an outmoded religion. However, even after having said all that, I will concede that within Star Wars legacy canon, which is to say the true canon, exclusive of any and all things Disney, two distinct, though not mutually exclusive, possible interpretations of the Force. There's the original trilogy's take, which is more evocative of Indo-European style metaphysics, namely Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity, wherein the light side is just the Force as and of itself, and the dark side is a warped perversion of that original pure holistic form, and that more lends itself to the absence of a physiological Force medium. And then there's the post-prequel interpretation, which is more in keeping with the Taoist concept of the yin-yang, wherein the light and dark sides are precisely that, opposing sides of a singular coin, where one can never truly, permanently, defeat the dark side for the same reason you can't defeat or destroy your own shadow, which leaves a bit more room for the more sciencey end of the science-fantasy spectrum. And it is precisely this allusion to real-world philosophy and mysticism that I think makes the Force, the Star Wars universe, and the science-fantasy genre as a body so uniquely interesting. In my view, it marries the most compelling element of sci-fi, exoteric exploration of the wider universe, with the greatest component of fantasy, the internal exploration of humanity, to create something for which I can conjure no better word than otherworldly. But anyway, my quick rant's over for today. Go check out my Rumble and buy my books on Amazon. Links to all are down below. I'll catch you all in the next one. And may the Force serve you.